Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 30. Today we will be battling with Lux Illuminated up against the final battle, the end boss, the Frost Witch, Lysandra. And so, to get you ready for the battle today, the three things I always say about these upper level battles. Number one, you need to be able to elusive, overwhelm, or rally. We take care of that with Lux by using the Crown Guard Inheritance, so Lux will give us a rally anytime that we level up. We won't run into these spots to where we attack with 1,000 stats, the opponent blocks, and the game just doesn't end. Number two, you need some kind of way to scale, and we get the scaling with Lux through the Light Guides Us. That's her 1-star ability, so whenever you target or support an ally, it gets Spirit. So as the game progresses, our units are going to grow and grow and grow and grow. As far as this Lux battle goes within itself, Lux is a full-on build-around champion. You have to protect Lux. If Lux dies, you're going to lose the game. And so the way we want every game to sequence out is on turn 1, we're going to put some units on the board, either a 1-drop or a 2-drop or 2 1-drops. On turn 2, we're going to put Lux on the board. She's going to get the 3 mana back with the Lost Chapter, and then we'll be able to protect her with the Inspiring Presence, so the 2-star ability to where you create a prismatic barrier in hand every turn. And so from that point forward, when Lux attacks, she should be protected because she generates her own barriers. When Lux defends or gets vulnerable into combat, we can protect her with the prismatic barrier coming out of hand. Last but not least, we do need to find some kind of removal spell. Ideally, something fast speed or burst speed. We don't want our removal to be stuck at the slow speed, weird concerted strike that came out of the new set. We're going to try and find a stun, a recall, a vengeance, at worst, something like a hush, something that when the opponent attacks us with their big 100-100 overwhelm unit, we can remove it from combat and not just immediately lose the game. And so, that is the general strategy. Our Lux is ready. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Let's see who's out here in the middle. Ornn's ready. Lysandra's ready. Everybody's ready. Let's go. And all right, the support champions. Who turns up? A bunch of garbage, right? I don't want Hecarim. We're not doing things with ephemerals. I don't want Fizz. It's just too slow, and Bilgewater's just garbage. And then we've got lurkers at the end, which aren't going to be on theme. So let's take a quick roll. After that, I'm not opposed to the Morgana. She does give us that last little bit of things we're looking for, right? We need a way to just stun down the opposing units, and we get that out of the Dark Binding. And so Morgana does, check a lot of the boxes. I do also like that she has lifesteal. So if we're in a random battle, we stumble at the beginning, an opponent accidentally dunks us for 20, we have a little bit of ways to get that back. I think this Lysandra is going to be right on point. Otherwise, Karma's not horrible. She does start with Concussive Palm. That fixes a lot of our problems, and Ziggs is kind of off theme. And so yeah, let's take Lysandra. Take Morgana. See what turns up next. And so, oh boy, man, all of the big ones, so many big ones turning up. In the days of old of talking about the powers, I always mentioned that you're kind of interested in the ones that let you cheat at the rules of the game. So Mana Flow lets you cheat, getting you extra mana gems. You typically start the game with 1. Mana Flow lets you start with 2. That's breaking the rules. Very nice. Also, Domination does the same thing, as to where at the round start you get the rally, and so being able to attack every turn instead of only half the time lets you break the rules as well. But when this case comes up, if we didn't have the Crown Guard Inheritance, if we didn't have the way to get the rally off of our champion, I would take the Domination. But since we do have the Crown Guard Inheritance on our Lux, I'm going to go with the Mana Flow here. Great start. Off to the races. So we take our 200 G's in treasure into the next shop. What's on the items real quick? Ooh, something for Lux. I'm on board with that. 2-2 when I'm summoned, the strongest enemy and I strike each other. Hang on. Hang on. I got to slow down here. Now, one of the things I really try to do with all of these Lux adventures is we're going to go to every single champion item chest to add the additional copies of Lux to our deck. But this shop does not add them. It's only the items. And I do worry that when we play Lux, this burst speed ability hits, that she's just going to die. And so this might actually be more of a hindrance than a help, and so I'm going to let that go. If we didn't land on the Morgana package, I would be moderately interested in the Laurent Protege. These Iceborne Gauntlets are quite strong, but with the stun, I don't think I really want it. And so let's go back to see what's out here. Anything interesting? I don't want the Tasty Feyfolk. The Crescent Guardian is pretty off board, although give my supported ally 1/1 and my keywords isn't that bad. We can set up these chains to where we have Lux into Crescent Guardian into Lamino Sprites. Lamino Sprites gets overwhelmed and then passes that to the next unit down the board. That would be an ability I'd be super interested in if we didn't already have access to a rally. So I don't think we need it. Quicken I don't want. What else is here? Scroll down. Sprite Dance don't want. Winds of War don't want. Equinox is not terrible, but I don't think we really need it. And so this is kind of tough. I would like to upgrade something here at the start, and I'm not really convinced on any of this stuff. And so maybe we just take a couple of rolls on the items down here, or we put the power riff on the Lamino Sprites. Being able to play, like on turn 1, the Lamino Sprites and another 2-drop if we don't have Lux, right? We have the mana gem, so we'll have access to it. Maybe we do just take the cheaty card here. Like, what I guess one thing that's interesting is we do have the, what's he called? The 2/2 tough guy that draws a card. And so it could be on turn 1 of the game, we draw our card for the turn, then we play the Vanguard Defender, and then the Lumino Sprites will be free. Okay, I'm on board. I'm convinced. All right, off to battle we go. And so what's out here on this? We got an item chest, we got a item chest, and we got a spell chest. And so I'm going to go towards the item chest, try to upgrade our Lux. I'm not too worried about the Troll Scavenger. The nab ability, the foe nabs one and grants it an item, isn't a really strong ability. It's not something to worry about. And then the Vision of Strength does give the opponent the chance to oops, I win you. I don't entirely remember what's in the Omen Hawk deck, but the opponent just getting that plus 20 attack on an overwhelmed unit will cause some problems. And so let's avoid that while we can. We'll take the easier route here against the Troll Bro, the Braum Friend, the Scargrounds Lover. Let's see what happens. Good start. We got our Vanguard Defender. We got our Lux. Everything one could need. So I think I still want to just wait to put Lux on the board. We can get her down next turn. Let's just go with Jaro and go with the Vanguard Defender this round.
Approaching the battlefront. Taste steel.
Maybe that's okay. I don't know. It's going to be tough for us to get out of this without burning mana somewhere. Like I'm probably not going to want to play Smoldering Smirk this turn, but I guess we'll see what turns up. We are in a good spot to probably just play Form Up this round, and that kind of fixes things. Or I guess the Smirk is good. It's going to let us grow our Lux to be bigger than all of these other dum-dums. Is that enough to get the kill? Yeah. Okay. It worked, bro. Are we allowed to start talking trash at this point? Say just get worked, get done, get taken. Let's get the Lisa and Dolly on board. I'm going to wait on Morgana. Like the only way that this game is going to go wrong is if he has a way to kill our Lux, and so I don't want to come in and just spend all of our mana.
They should take notes.
Is that where we have to stop? Doesn't feel awesome, but whatever.
We're not playing.
So I think we're okay here. Moving into the next round, having the free Prismatic Barrier, the 2 mana that we would need to play either Dark Binding or Form Up, and then also being able to add Morgana. We're going to be in good shape. No problems. Too bad we don't have any more card draw. Can't get the Lamino Sprites down for free.
I have found such beauty in mortality.
This is kind of cool, I guess. So we do have some minor synergies with our Morgana being able to get the targets off of these prismatic barriers and stuff. And so I don't hate it, you know. I love it. I don't hate it. We've only taken 3 damage. Easily gain it back on the next turn. I think we'll probably get a lethal. We won't get it with the open attack, but we got a lot of follow-up here. Once we get this rally off of Lux. curious to see how the AI handles this turn, having the 2 units that are shackled, right? That's one of those spots to where if I was, if I'd spent more time being a Path of Champions connoisseur, I would, have more knowledge as far as being able to, like, stun one of these units and have it sit around with the Dark Binding and know how the opponent's going to react. Like, I don't know all of the AI tricks just yet, right? As you look at a card like that Captured Gauntlet that we were looking at with the Learned Protege, like, so setting up turns to where we just pass, right? Say, oh, it's turn 1 of the game. We have 3 mana, pass, and just wait on the opponent to put a unit on the board and then come back and clean it out with the Protege. Like, I'm still not certain about those kind of AI things, but we'll get there eventually. All right, so Celestial Wonder, not a top-tier removal spell, but only costing 2 mana is a pretty good deal. And I feel like we can kind of set some of this stuff up similar to, say, like an Ash attack, right? To where you Harsh Winds and they can't block because your Ash is on board. I think having like a turn to where we're like, okay, well, we've locked something down with Morgana, and then we get a stun from the Binding and a double stun from the Celestial Wonder, and opponent only has 2 active blockers. Like, I think that can be very real here. Also, getting those additional 2 targets for Morgana is not a horrible deal. Who do we got in here? You just go to the 1 mana Celestial Wonder if we want. I'm a little bit more interested in that. Like, I'm not jazzed about having like 1,000 copies of Celestial Wonder in our deck, but I don't want any of these other cards, and I don't really want to burn a reroll on this shop, and so let's take it, I guess. All right, so what's up next? Both of the nodes lead to the Woolly Snail Moth. That's not a big deal, I think. I'm trying to think. The Warden on its own we can handle. The Heart of Fluff matchup, I think we're safe against, right? The Heart of Fluff does give you like a realistic way to die when they generate a 50-50 spell shielded Overwhelm unit, but I think now that we have all of these 1 mana stuns that we can probably handle it. Like, I think if I ask myself the question, do you want to fight against tall or fight against wide? We want to fight against tall, and so I'm going to go up to the Heart of Fluff here. See if we can't get the takedown. Like, it's very easy. Like, if you think of a lot of the problems that happen in the current standard format, I see all these sprites and I just want to get them down for free. But if you think of we hit it. The problems in the current standard format to where, you want to play a unit on turn 5 and your opponent goes, cool, it's Morgana. Then I think that. Why did we get extra draws for the turn? I mean, I'm not complaining, but I don't get why the sprites are free. You play your 5-drop and then opponent plays Morgana and then your attacks are just fucked. I think that we can do the same thing to the Heart of Fluff tier. Not a bad start though. Keep that mana banked up in case something weird happens next turn with Lux. I'm not entirely certain what would exist that we need to worry about, but if he's like herpity derpity, it's what's the slow thing that kills a frostbitten unit, right? I don't want to deal with that, and so we'll just be safe just in case. Now he only has 1 mana. It's much less scary. Target the Fated Boy down here, get these additional stats. Alright, dude's out of mana. I'm not certain if he even tries to attack here. Like, I can't imagine that he does, and so, like, we'll get the open attack. Very nice to drop these shackles to where he can't block on the open, and then we'll also get to get the rally for the turn. But here's what I was talking about with Celestial Wonder, right? Say the patched Poro bot is locked down. Like, say we do a Celestial Wonder and we do a Dark Binding, then the opponent only has 2 blockers left for the turn, and so I feel like it doesn't matter right here, but that's something that will come up eventually.
Practice time. Taste steel.
All right, nice little 73 burger rolling in. It's not bad. Not a bad way to spend. What is this, turn 3?
Together. What was I so afraid of?
You gotta like seeing that. Alright, he plays a worthless Aurora Borealis, and we're good to go. If you're new to the channel, this is right here is why I say it's so important to have an elusive Overwhelmer rally. Right, we came through, we just put this obnoxiously strong attack in, and we didn't kill the opponent, right? We were attacking for 70-some damage. The opponent did not die, and as we moved into the next turn, we're going to lose a lot of these upgrades that we managed to build up,
Brings us together.
because they're temporary.
So
But
afraid of.
if we'd given those units Overwhelm, we would have gotten the kill. If we had Elusive, he couldn't have blocked any of them. Or in our case here, we have the Rally. We get the secondary attack in after clearing out the board. Pretty good.
Come on. I'll go
I want to
easy
call my
this
shot,
time.
but I know it's always too early. It's too early. It's like, as we were battling against Aurelian Soul in the previous video, it was like just such an easy mode crusher. And then we got to the end, and it was like, oh fuck, this Aurelian Soul has, this A Soul has duplicate, and you can just automatically lose to that. So I feel strong about our run here, but we got a ways to go. So how do we feel about these? Like I don't care for Gloom Sprites, but it's not horrible. I think we probably just want the Plucky Poro with the capture ability attached to it. Like summoning 1-cost followers off the Pie Toss doesn't seem that great, and the Plucky Poro is good enough to where I don't feel like I want to burn a reroll. Alright, up next, what's this guy do? So he gets 1 mana, the Watcher ability, sure, and then when the foe attacks, grant their attacking units 3/3. I feel like that's what we do. we attack, we grant our units the big 3/3, the big bonus. Alright. No Lux. Now she, of course, turns up, but I'm not certain if... see, why do we get the card for the turn? Why are we drawing an additional one for the Protege? Is there just some ability that I'm... Oh. Game start, draw champion. That's the... Okay. I'm not used to taking these champions up to such a high star level. I'm not familiar with... that ability you get for being like level 25 or whatever the fuck we're at. Okay, gotcha.
Lady of Light.
We'll just go ahead and take the pass here. It seems kind of greedy just to dive in. But good to know, though. Good to know. That's it's definitely a ability that I'm not super familiar with.
Okay, Dolly. Just like you showed me.
Oh, that shit got big. I forgot his dudes were gonna get +3/+3. Well, we'll grow the sprites so that it can pass out the abilities a little bit better. I'll throw away Lisa and Dolly here. She's not going to be an incredibly important unit. The thing that's a bit unfortunate for this next turn is if we want to add Morgana, we can't play our Prismatic Barrier. And I'm pretty interested in Prismatic Barriering a Lumino Sprites and then just making the big barrier attack across the board. That's kind of fucking annoying. So if we burn the barrier now, yeah, we'll just take it. We'll just have to kind of count on like the Morgana to recover through some of this. So we're going to get the flip. We've got this 17/17 Laurent Protege out here now. I don't think we're going to end the game before... I don't think we're going to end the game before this Morgana comes down, but there's some potential for it. Oh, and he didn't pop the barrier on our Lumino Sprites, and so we're going to get to re-barrier.
You can't hide from the light. Demacia defends its own. Magic brings us together.
see if he blocks. Like one of the things I was gonna call out is I won't slow roll these games just to get the bonuses, right? There's a very real chance that the action we should have taken there was to pull back one of these Lumino sprites so that we didn't get the kill, to guarantee we get to roll into this next turn and get Morgana onto the board. It's just not something I like to do. I understand why people do it. It's just not something I'm too keen on doing. But all right, our Morgana should be good to go now. We do need to attack with her like left enough to where, like, where does the lethal hit? That's 11. That's 32. That's where the lethal looks to be. So we at least get some extra bonus stats on Morgana, so we lifesteal more.
Run them through. Hardly fair.
All right, plus 15 gets us to max, and that should be a lethal. Okay, we'll call it a day there. But no, that was one of my big problems with Balatro, is I had real issues with, like, you can see what the optimal play is in terms of you run into a lot of hands to where you get to, say, play 5 poker hands in a turn, and you want to play high card, high card, high card, high card for the first 4, and then like your finisher for the last one, right? You could technically just get the finisher out of the way and finish off the game right at the very beginning, but you would get some like scaling bonuses by playing high card, high card, high card, high card, and then your big finisher. And so I that part was like kind of whatever, it is what it is. But then I would also get upset in that you would run into like these really close situations to where your finisher may not be enough to actually finish off the game. And so you had to sit here and just do a bunch of fucking math to figure out if you were going to be able to finish off the game or not. And I found those situations very frustrating. And so that's what I was kind of getting at in that previous game, is like, it's like, fuck, I can kind of see to where we can slow roll this and then get the max health Morgana on the next attack and send us up like plus 30 health, but just don't like doing that. But here with this, we can take the support unit. That's fine. The War Chefs are pretty decent. They're going to be good on turn 1. Again, I do worry that they're going to be too weak as far as the later game goes. But for now, we're okay. Now we're going up against the She Who Wanders. This is one of the annoying abilities. When the player's units strike the foe's nexus, you get a -2 attack, and then if it has 4 or less power, you obliterate it. And so that can be a little bit challenging for Lux, because Lux isn't what scales all of our other units scale. But we'll just have to pay a little bit of attention. But for the nodes, we can either get a power or a healer. I'm just going to go to the healer. I feel like our powers are good enough at this point. We don't need to roll the dice for it. We can come in and just cut some of these expensive garbages out of our deck. Let's go ahead and get the tree sprites out of here. I feel like that's the one that we're going to play the least. I typically cut the Aberrant Mage Seeker, but with it having Phage, it seems kind of reasonable, but not one that I'm really stoked about. So again, we mentioned we get the -2 attack when we hit. If our unit was small, it gets obliterated, and then the foe's units survive damage. They get tough. If they have tough already, they get 2/2. The Mega Scar Grounds, if you will. All right, so gotta remember, we draw a champion at the start of the game. So let's just mulligan for Lumino Sprites and Luxes then. We hit a Lux, we hit a Sprites. It's not bad. Oh man, I almost came out and just started attacking. I gotta remember that that's not what we're gonna be doing out here today. Okay, take her slow. Get some boosts on before things get too crazy. I wonder if we should have left that unit on the board so that we could have tried to do a Smoldering Smirk. Like, the Smirk is what we're going to do to get our units to be big enough to be interesting. Maybe that's where we should have gone.
You, Mage Seeker. You are not familiar to me.
A true
Alright, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. It's at least nice to get some of these like frostbites and stuff baited out before we really try and go for the big move, you know. So I think I'm fine to see some of this stuff happen. I worry as we're playing against the unit called She Who Wanders that we're actually going to get hit by She Who Wanders, as like I'm out here trying to bait with the Plucky Poro and stuff, so we can just hit the big unit when it comes down. But it seems like that turned out okay. Now let's see what we can do.
I have found such
See
beauty
if we
and
can't put
mortality.
forth our big stun lines. So if we stun now while that thing is on the stack, he's not going to get another action. He's not going to have any blockers. You can start to bring some of this heat.
Crown's orders.
Do not look away.
Something like that. We get the flip. We lose our Mage Seeker that way, though. So that'll be a little better, I think. We keep all of our units this way, still get the flip.
Demacia defends its
Only get to hit him for 30, though. Very weak attack. Look at that weak shit out here. Only hitting for 30. You got 30 to go.
Magic must be fostered.
But we are safe against something like She Who Wanders now. It would be kind of annoying with She Who Wanders since it can take our little Plucky Poros off of the board.
The crown guard won't
This seems okay.
Magic is our strength.
Now it's only neg 21. No, we need the big bonus stats. Here's how this needs to go, right? We get the Mage Seeker to the left. He can now boost Lux up to 5, and then we get the big strong boost from the Lamino sprites on an unlocked unit. Okay,
What was I so afraid
there we go. Rip. The old She Who Wanders. I was looking if there was anything like I missed in the past constructed season, and there was a handful of people playing like the big Volibear ramp decks. And it's like, ugh. It seems like it just dies to Hecarim and then still struggles against the likes of the Elder Dragon. But nonetheless, moving forward, Winds of War and Shatter are garbage. Getting a boost on Morgana is not that bad. Adding in the additional copies isn't that bad as well, especially given that she flips into a stun. So I kind of like all of that. The Mind Meld, I don't remember what this is. Is this the one that lets you sacrifice a relic to get a higher tier relic? I don't quite remember. I'm just going to take the champion chest for our Lux. I was leaning towards just taking the Spirit, having the second stack of Spirit. We could start to roll, right? We're getting kind of close to the end, but I typically just save the rolls for the shops. Like, I mean, what are we really hoping to hit on this board to where like we start rolling and say like, oh, that's what our deck is missing, right? I don't think we really get any of that, and so I'm just going to put the extra stack of Spirit onto Lux, move forward. So up against the Mirror Mage, at the game start, the foe summon gets the 0/8 Mirror Mage. Excuse me, and then they also have the Watcher ability. Get them 10 gems, get them Watchers. All right, I like our mulligan though. I think that's fine. These war chefs are kind of interesting. Knowing that we're going against the opposing Mirror Mage, we could maybe play it and get the kind of free strike right at the beginning of the game. That would probably have a little bit more merit if we were on the odd attack token, right? So what's going to happen is opponent's going to play their unit, and then the war chefs is just going to strike whatever they play. And so I think we'll go back to just looking for the sprites and looking for Lux. As we look at hands like this, I will say one thing that does give me a little bit of worry is if like we could potentially just run out of stuff to do, and I'm a bit concerned that might be rearing its head, right? As we look at this hand that kind of just has the Lamino sprites, I have a little bit of concern that we might actually kind of zero out here. We need like a manifest, or we need an invoke item attached to one of our units.
To the field! I see you. Something to
What do we got? How bad is this going to be? Doubling up on Nox and Tellstones. Nobody cares about that. This is starting to be a bit of a scary mirror mage. We probably need to go ahead and pop that. Oh. Does the spell shield persist? I can't remember what I'm thinking of. Something happened like yesterday to where to where like the shield refreshed itself. I can't remember if it was a champion level up like you get with Rumble, or if this warding charm just comes back every turn. It might have been a champion level up, and that's fucked with me to now.
The more we learn, the less we fear.
You cannot break a shattered soul. Do you like what you see?
All right, he plays the shackles. Oh, he gets the free shackles. He gets the shackles combo, huh? That's not bad.
Pain must be felt.
All right, but now with Morgana on board, I feel a lot better. No, don't worry nearly as much about us running out of health. Would you hit impact? Sure. And we can at least make some of these Lumino sprites attacks now. Like you saw in the previous game, to where we just put the barrier on the sprites and get to attack with everybody.
Do not look away.
What is this?
All right, things are improving. It was a little worried that Mirror Mage was going to get out of hand, and now I'm just kind of like, yeah. that wasn't so bad, huh? That wasn't so bad.
I need to believe that one day things will be
Should maybe hold on to this Dolly. Like,
Not even.
I don't know. This is tough to fight through. It seems like against the AI, you can very frequently just drop that barrier, or drop the curse at the end of their turn, and then they make a terrible attack. Or they don't get to break the curse, and then you get to open attack. But yeah.
Into the dark.
stand strong.
Bring in a barrier. We've got a better block out here at the end. Losing out on Lisa and Dolly is not that big of a deal. Okay. We'll stop there. Like I think we can realistically get this Mirror Mage off of the board next turn. I mean, it's not super important to do so, but I think we can. We would want to do something like a Smoldering Smirk, and then put a stun on top.
I am your darkness.
Get all them targets. Get that Morgana flip happening.
Do you like what you see? 7 years.
This is what I was concerned about with this turn, though. The opponent coming in and just dropping a bunch of Waking Sands. It's a little annoying, but I think this round is just a matter of time before it's done. So we'll get a good attack here. I don't think we need to Prismatic Barrier, but I guess it doesn't hurt.
Own your frailty.
We'll just have to wait till the next round. Don't have access to Lux, so we're not able to get any of those rallies for the turn.
Bear this burden.
But let's be real, this game's done. It feels pretty good to take the game down this way without Lux, right? It would have been over a while ago if we had her, but
Mama's home.
I think I'm okay with this. More bindings. Yeah, this is that part to where it's a little scary right at the end, because we have run out of things to do. But We can just let him attack with the Watcher. Right? Obliterate the enemy deck, leaving 3 non-champions. We'll have enough draws to fight through that. We can save these stuns for next turn to make sure he can't block. Because oh, he doesn't even attack? Because as soon as that attack came in, I was like, maybe that's not valid, given that without Lux, we probably can't lethal next turn, and then we would end up decking ourselves. Or I guess we would get 2 more attack tokens after that, but it's ultimately pretty scary. Make one of these. Morgana hits a Watcher, that's fine.
Crown's orders. We will not be stopped.
I'll turn the tide.
Do we even need to boost the Morgana anymore? Like, he's just not gonna block her.
Own your frailty.
So we can bring something like that. Bring one of these dum-dums out this way, right? It's like I'm looking at these double stuns, and it's like, well, we can get 2 units out of combat, but we're still going to be way short of the lethal.
Each major gift.
Find your own. Spraying and praying.
So we'll look into that next turn. Hopefully he'll give us some opportunity to put the Dark Bindings onto the Watchers. Like, I guess we are like a little bit closer at this point to where, you know, we might be able to actually get the lethal on the next attack, but this is pretty worrisome. You see how he's like passing with all of this mana and not activating the Watchers? That's what gives me a little bit of hope that he's just not going to try and attack with them. See if these bindings stick. He can still pay the mana for the Watcher on the left and get an attack in, but I don't know. He doesn't seem real interested in it. It doesn't seem like something that's on the table for the opponent here. So that was a 2-mana one. Okay, so he gets the nuke. I wonder if he would have done all of this if the Dark Bulb Acolyte wasn't on the board. But losing out on the non-champions, we do lose out on our Luxes at this point, so we can't get any more rallies. We've only got 3 cards left. It's going to be tough. We do get to you know, shock one of the units at the get-go with Morgana. Okay, well that helps picking up a stun. So when Morgana attacks, she hits the strongest, right? Curse the strongest enemy that isn't cursed. It's actually just target his weaker units, so he has to block. Everything we have should be bigger than what he has.
A mirror sees beauty and makes it more.
Now I do want to get back to protecting
Share in my
Morgana.
curse. Form up.
So let's see, how does this board look? I can't see what we even stunned. I can barely see one on the Dark Bulb Acolyte. What's the other stunned unit here? Did I stun something with Spell Shield? Sounds like something I would do. God damn it. Or did he overwrite it? I'm going to say he overwrote it, but I probably stunned something with Spell Shield. Wouldn't put it past me.
Your aptitude is impressive.
Look!
Feel my
All right, I guess we get the 1 more attack token. We gotta finish it on the next one. I don't know. It's like we're in the commanding position, but getting our deck wrecked like that was kind of a pain point. The Howling Abyss. Well, if he's attacking and stuff, that feels kind of nice. Like, I wanted to go ahead and put the stat bonus onto Jaro, so like we can potentially get a takedown on this next turn with our smaller plays that aren't getting blocked, then like we're not going to recover that that prismatic barrier, right? We have the mana to cast them over and over and over again, and so we had that going for us. We're okay now though. He's got his 2 units. We can kill one of them with the Smirk and then hook the other one out of combat.
For a hero for my
Call
hero.
it a day.
Magic is our strength.
That was scary though, right?
Each major
Oof.
gift.
Oof. The Watcher, huh? That's tough. Well, y'all thought we were going to be boned, weren't you? That's the a perfect example of the importance of that Lux rally. Like maybe we should have tried to pick up a little bit more rally. I don't know.
Our suffering was not in vain.
We got there at the end of the day. Alright, so what do we got? I don't want this Morgana thing. I like her being able to block. These other cards kind of suck. The Laurent Duelist is a reasonably costed unit that gives us some interactivity, but these abilities all kind of suck. The Shield Bearer sucks. I don't want to be re-rolling these cards, though. The shop is where we're coming up. That's where we want the rolls to be happening. So what do we got here? A draw 1 on the Elixir of, or the Dark Binding. Definitely on board with that. Just something to give us, a way to give us something to do with our mana. Now, what do we have in here without rolling? Sharp Sight don't want, Black Shield don't want, Arachnoid Sentry don't want. The Wounded White Flame, I'm usually not opposed to picking up 1 copy of these cards that start in your hand, but it's not, you know, a real good one out here. Protector don't want, Blade's Edge don't want. The items were offered up. Last Breath Rally, not super interested in with Morgana, but this Yordle Portal is quite good. The Manifest on the Targon region. I can definitely see a lot of expensive stuff coming out of this. And so this should fix some of our problem of not having enough late game stuff to do, right? The thing I was worried about in that last game is our hand is like 1 Dark Binding, 1 Celestial Wonder, 1 Prismatic Barrier, 1+2/+2. And that's not enough to really carry you through the game. But we picked up Draw a Card on our Celestial Binding, and now we're putting Manifest on the Celestial Wonder. That fixes all of our card advantage problems. So I'm happy to pick that up. That looks good to me. We do want to go ahead and spend these rerolls, though. See if anything interesting turns up. Sinner's Vice with a copy. That's somewhat interesting as a late game thing to do. Just making the curses so expensive at that point. I don't really like it, but it's interesting. Otherwise, Make It Rain don't want, Primal Strength don't want, the Harrowing. We're not having trouble filling out our board. Chum the Waters is bad. Targonian Tellstones isn't horrible, but I feel like the main reason we would be taking the Tellstones would be for the Hush, and we already have the stuns, so I'm gonna skip over that. Wounded White Flame don't want, Seedling don't want, Telescope don't want, Gruesome Theater meh, Guile no. All right, one more. What do you got on the last one here? Not that exciting. Let's roll down here. The mini T's too expensive. Wallop with the stat don't want. Weapons don't want. This Vanguard Sergeant is a touch interesting. Like the 4 Demasias are somewhat strong, but as we're up against all of like the 9/9s we'll see against Lysandra, I just don't think it's going to be enough. And so I'll skip over that. We'll just leave all this stuff. All right. Crappy set of rolls. So, all right, moving forward on to Trundle. And so when the foe summons an 8-cost unit, grant their other units 8/8, sure. And then it has the Mega Scar Grounds. Gotcha. Getting to the end, getting close. We got our Lumino sprites. We'll just continue on with that mulligan. I like it. We'll just look for sprites. We'll look for Luxes. See if we can't get a good turn 1 going.
Footprints here.
Demacia will lead the way.
Knocked and ready.
I was gonna say, I wonder if he ever like just attacks us with that Troll Scavenger. We have access to the prismatic barriers, but I guess it's not that important at the end of the day. We can just play our War Chefs and get the takedown.
Flavor and spice.
These are trolls.
He plays his Trundle. We'll be able to take him off the board with the Plucky Poro. Now the opposing attacks do not look very good.
Burn away the shadows.
Stop here. I was hoping that we could get everything going, but there's no real reason to risk any of our units on this board.
Magic brings us together.
Save the homestead.
Not bad.
Warm hearts and hot soups.
Go ahead and get Morgana down. Like, it's a reasonable chance we can just end the game next turn, and this way it's going to take quite a bit of work to get the Kindly Tavern Keeper back into action.
You can't hide from the light.
Feel the sizzle.
Get him in there. There's our rally.
Out every shadow.
Good stuff.
What was I so afraid of?
We fight together.
What was I so afraid of?
Look at all of those stats. Ona just eats it. He doesn't even play anything? Alright. It's like, I was trying to think if like we ever want to get these aberrant Mage Seekers onto the board, but I guess we don't need to. Like, what do you do? What's happening where you just pass with 7 mana? Do you really have a hand just full of 8 drops?
Embrace this ephemeral triumph.
He drafted a bad Titanic deck? Alright. What do we got here? Jaro with the capture is not bad. The Ruby-Eyed Conjurer is a very interesting ability. If you're not familiar with this grant thing, like it can grant the units in our hand these abilities, so we could grant a Lumino Sprite's Overwhelm and then pass out those overwhelms through combat. Same with the Spell Shield. Now, the thing I'm not super certain of with the Conjurer, or with the Lumino Sprites, is they have that thing that swaps their keywords, right? They have... while in hand, I have a random keyword that changes each round. It seems like this thing likes to overwrite your other keywords that get attached to this, and so I'm not certain if that's the case of what would happen here. But I think we probably just want to take Jaro with the capture. Like, these 1-mana units with the capture are exceptionally strong. So what do we got? Spell Chest, Healer, or Fallen Feline? I don't remember what the Fallen Feline does, so let's just go to the Spell Chest. It's got Epic on it, so it's got to be good, right? We got a bunch of garbage. Inspired Light, Black Shield, Ranger's Resolve, don't really want any of this. Like, the Black Shield is the most tempting one, giving us another way to protect Lux. Trying to remember what's in the Lysandra kit and how much we care. The spell that comes out of Lysandra that tends to be the problem is the Ice Shard. That has the doubling cube attached to it, and they just pop off like 6 Ice Shards all in the same stack, and things like Spell Shield and Barrier don't really matter against it. I think we just want to leave this. Alright. Final battle, final boss, up against Lysandra. And so what she have, double the stats and grant Fearsome for the first unit, sure thing. And then the standard ability, when the foe summons a landmark, you advance their other landmarks 3. And then each round after we play more than 3 cards, everything costs 3 more. No big combos. Alright, so there's no Lumino Sprites. There's no Luxes. We're just going to send it all back. Kind of a bummer of a start against the final boss. Morgana is the draw. Uh-oh. We might have to rise again up against this battle. It is not starting out well.
Okay, Dolly. Just like you showed me.
Let's see if he pays the price for the shackles. Goes for it. Too bad. Alright. Yeah, I don't know, fam. This is not a good one.
It is time for you to prove yourself, my warrior.
How many... So he's got the 1 Thrall on board. I'm trying to decide if we want to Smoldering Smirk down the Inquisitor. He's a few turns away from activating the Frozen Thrall, and so I think I'm just going to play the Defender and try to find Lux. She didn't turn up. Bit of a bummer. Let's just eat this. Maybe it's too much. But we don't have good blocks on anything because they have Fearsome. Like, I'd throw away Lisa and Dolly. Okay. We do still have Morgana in hand, so we should be able to level up kind of quick after this. Or at least level our health up is what I meant.
I will remind the world of true
Sad noise. Sad noise. So who's the target out of this? I think we want to hit the Frostguard thralls. Like we can get blocks in on Lysandra and stuff and not worry about it too much, but these thralls are where the problems start to happen.
Share in my curse.
He entombs our Morgana. Well, that's some annoying shit.
entomb.
Maybe those black shields would have been useful. Maybe they would have. We're still kind of okay. I don't think this is a lethal attack. We have the double stun off the Celestial Wonder. Why would he not attack with the guy in the back line? Interesting. Interesting, I'll tell you.
Stand strong.
Alright, so we got the stuns in to where we don't die. That's kind of cool. Not losing the game is a good thing. These cards are all garbage. We'll just take the Pale Cascade. Maybe we should have taken the Daybreak unit just so we would have a blocker. But most importantly, not dead. Not dead is a good thing.
Magic is way more fun than
He's gonna drop the Lisa and Dolly. It sucks to pay the additional price, but I don't want to overbank. So Morgana's back. Lucky Poro turns up, ready to fight off the Watcher whenever that's ready to come on board.
Seek and protect.
This is so tough to do without being at this point without a Sprites or without a Lux. So we're getting close to where we just die to these ice shards. The game says we're only taking 3.
Feel the power of true ice.
Pew pew pew. I don't know if there's any recovering out of this one. We gotta pick up some more stuns for these overwhelms. We have the blocks we need for Lysandra and the other Dum Dum. Oh, we just died to the Ice Shard, right? Not certain at what point he ever plays it. Alright. Whew. Let's try that again. Rise up, my friends. Rise up for battle. That's tough though. That's just like one of those mulligans to 5. As to where, you know, we didn't find a Sprites or a Lux over the course of the entirety of the game.
At last,
So,
my time is at hand.
let's try that again. That's not it. Uh-oh. Are you all scared yet? I'm a little scared. Not big scared, just a little scared. Wait till the cards come into hand. Okay, we're getting big scared now. We're getting big scared. Ugh. Come on. And Morgana, just every time. Every time. Can't play Jaro because we need the unit removing ability.
Just what I needed.
Maybe this will be enough. Just coming at him with the captures. You say, you got a unit? You say, well, I got to play as well. I mean, he doesn't have Lysandra in his start. Oh, I guess he has Lysandra, just didn't play her. I mean, I guess that's a possibility. That's a thing. So we'll add the Protege. He's got a big unit. I don't care about it. I care more about these things like Lysandra.
Does the name Lightfeather mean anything to you?
We can try and take her down next turn before she gets too crazy. Or would we rather just play Morgana? Like the bummer to adding Morgana is he's just going to follow up with a big play, a giant play, and we're not going to get to attack. But we don't have any kills onto Lysandra. I guess we can do this preemptively. Fuck. So we can go up just one. Yeah, we gotta stop there. Ugh. That's bad. We gotta find Lux. This is I don't know how else to go about this. Like everything our deck does is centered on Lux, and then we don't draw Lux. It's just done.
You will do as I command.
It doesn't have to be her coming down on turn 1, but when we get into like turn 5 and turn 6, if we haven't drawn her, then we're gonna suffer. So he ice shards and then buried in ices. So he gets his units back, and then the buried in ice hits and gets the clear. Okay. Interesting sequence. This is brutal. He gets with the countdowns pop when the buried in ice hits as well.
What can I say? I'm a man of mystery.
Alright, is there a block out here? So we're not dead.
A trivial attempt.
That's a bonus, I guess. Man, what a bummer. What a bummer to get so far so easily and so well, and then just to have to go through this game. It's like, come on. Alright, well, let's see what we can do. Make a fucking sad noise.
I have found such beauty in mortality.
Let's see what nonsense happens to Morgana at this point. It's like, at least she is big enough to attack on this board.
I live and die for you alone,
Excuse me. So we have some outs. Probably should have lifestealed her or put spell shield on her before we got into combat. Alright, they'll gain some health, get that dum-dum off the board. We have answers to the Watcher, if that wants to come on board, and so... I don't know, maybe... maybe something positive will happen. Got a card draw off of the Summoner coming in.
I'm gonna make a U-sickle. It's good to be the king.
I don't know, I'm feeling kind of sad, but my spirits are lifting a little bit. Lifting a little bit. Like, I feel like we have a shot. Still got like 1,000,000 stuns in hand. Let's wait till he gets into combat. Like, we have good opportunities to fuck him up in combat, right? He entombs Morgana. Yeah, I guess it would have been cool to put a spell shield on her. We can do it with the next one and then have the 2 Morganas on board, but that was probably definitely sloppy to not do it. But I mean, it's like, as you see the ice shards in his hand, you know that you're not like super likely to be popping off.
One smack'll do.
So did we actually get any good blocks out of this? Not really. Like, this makes our biggest unit. And I'm not certain how the opposing ability works. Like, if we're putting stuff on the stack, does that not count towards the mana increase. That's the way it seems to be going.
This will not take long.
What do you got in here? Just pure garbage? Par for the course, huh? Par for the course. I had such high hopes for the manifest, and it has not gone well. All right, spell shield. Holy shit, it's a Lumino sprites. Who would have guessed? Who would have thunk it that thing could turn up? Alright, so let's put the lockdown on Trundle. I'm looking now to kind of going towards this
Shattered soul.
this idea of using the barriered Lumino sprites to make something positive happen. Jesus Christ. I mean, okay. Okay. This is like just as soon as something started to turn around. I mean, I guess. Can we do anything to get out of this? We'll pick up a Morgana next turn. Her ability's a play ability, so we're not going to get any shackles. We have one stun. But then the Morgana's going to flip back into another stun. And we probably have to get a unit on board. Vanguard Defender, Laurent Protege, Ruby-Eyed Conjurer is who we want to remove. Oh god, I almost hit the wrong one. So at least this way we have a block for the Watcher. Like, I don't really feel like we're going to be able to win the game if the Watcher attacks, but something, right? Alright, we'll just call it there. So man, that's a bummer. That's a sad note. I feel like we had such an easy run up to that point,
Endure this pain.
and even when things were going wrong, we managed to circle it back around to make it kind of okay, but it just is what it is, right? That's why when I mentioned, going through all of the nodes, the most important thing to me is picking up those champion item chests so we can add more copies of Lux into our deck. And then when we made the decision to go in and say, it wasn't a shop, it was go to one thing or go to the healer and cut the tree spirits out of our deck. That's why I wanted the cut. I just wanted to get the more opportunities to draw Lux. I feel like our strategy was on point. It's just, how likely is it 2 games in a row to take the full mulligans both times, have the draw an additional champion power, and just completely whiff, right? I feel like either of those games would have been winnable if we had a single Lumino sprites or we had a single Lux, but it just didn't happen at the end of the day. I don't know how many we have of each of these. We only have 2 sprites and 3 copies of Lux, and so it's not as stacked as I would have liked it to have been, but that still has to be a fairly low roll for that kind of thing to happen. But nonetheless, I feel like the Lux adventure is one of the easier ones that you're ever going to encounter. I don't remember what level I was at when I took this down with Lux. It was in like the low 20s and not the high 20s, I think. I feel like this stack of abilities is just good enough. Having access to the Lost Chapters being the big one, and then the rally afterwards are really what you're looking to do with Lux. And I think we really hit on hitting the highlights and the high points and the low points and the strengths that it takes to make a good Lux deck. Hitting the elusive Overwhelmer rally, hitting the scaling, and then also picking up a removal spell somewhere. I feel like all of those things were showcased marvelously throughout the course of this run, and the last run against Aurelion Sol. Both were very easy runs, and then it just kind of fell apart when we didn't have what we were looking for in terms of draws. So good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bust and we thank you for being here.